what's up everybody? Welcome to week 25 here on the 52 Horrific Weeks 1981 series. I am your host as usual, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in. Alrighty, so just on a side note here, I just want to congratulate my Blue Jays. They won their 11th straight game today after that fucking horrendous start to the season they had. They've turned it around. They're 2 games over 500 now. 11 straight. Tomorrow night they're going to go for their franchise record. So, yeah, big ups to them. Fuck, I was stoked on that game today. Alright. So, anyways, getting back to business here, because this is the reason why you guys are watching the video right now. Week 25. Like I do with every other week, put the remaining films into the randomizer, press random, and Jess Franco's Bloody Moon came up. A slasher film from 1981. Jess Franco didn't really do a whole lot of slasher films. He dabbled in a lot of different genres of horror, a lot of sleaze, Euro sleaze and shit like that, but this was a different type of, feat for, Jess Franco to do, because he hadn't really done anything too much like this. But anyways, getting into the plot of the film, it starts out with a guy named Miguel. He's at this like masquerade party in the beginning of the film, and he basically tries to take things a little too far with this girl, and he ends up stabbing her and killing her. And then so he just kind of goes fucking crazy, stabs and kills her. Ends up getting thrown into like a mental institution for about 5 years. It jumps right ahead to 5 years later. It's Miguel getting out, and he's being released into his sister's watch, into her time. And so he's getting out. He gets released into his sister's care. She runs a language school for girls. It's where they learn to speak, in this case, Spanish. Basically for her aunt. Her aunt is this rich person. She runs the place, but her niece, she actually runs the school. So he gets released into her care, and of course, people start getting picked off, or girls start getting murdered at the school, and of course he's pretty much the prime suspect. That's basically the entire plot, or the plot of the film. Now my thoughts on this one. Now I'm going to start with a couple weird aspects of the film. Weird aspects. Now, Miguel is a very, very much like a total creep. He's actually burnt in the face, so he's very hideous looking and stuff. So he's like your obvious prime suspect, to be a killer. But with that said, there's a really weird aspect to this film with, like, of course, he's very much into voyeurism. He's watching all the girls all the time. He's following them and shit like that. But he has this, like, incestuous relationship with his sister. Apparently 5 years before they had this relationship going on, he went to the nut house, came back, and wanted to pursue that relationship. But, of course, his sister never wanted to do that because she felt that no one would ever understand their love for each other. Yeah, it's a really weird aspect to the film. And of course you got Miguel. He becomes obsessed with the main character in this film, one of the girls from the school, and he follows her around like everywhere she goes, and of course other girls start getting picked off and shit like that. Now, I think Jess Franco did a pretty good job in this film, to be honest. For taking a stab, pun intended, in the slasher genre. I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, overall the film isn't like one of the strongest early 80s slashers, but it does have a lot of really great kills in this, man. It's got really memorable kills. Now, the body count isn't overly huge in this one, but when the kills happen, they happen, and you definitely remember them. The acting in this movie, now, I believe this movie was originally shot in German language, and of course they dubbed this version in English, so obviously the ADR is completely off and shit like that, but you get used to it, you don't really notice it a whole lot. As for the characters, you just, you feel for the main one, but everyone's, they're not really that cliche, they're just kind of normal girls, they don't really have like the really standout cliche characters in a slasher film, which is actually kind of a nice surprise. Everyone seems kind of, just normal. But yeah, overall, I think Jess Franco did a good job, even with creating like using a really bizarre storyline, and then he throws in a really nice twist in the end of the film, which I think was. I mean, it's not like the craziest of twists. It's a decent one, but I think it really works for the movie. But the most memorable thing about this movie is definitely the kills, though. It's worth the watch just for the power saw kill alone. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say about it. It's got really weird ideas in the movie, with a twist ending. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have the greatest of atmosphere, to be honest. But with that said, it's not a really terrible slasher. It's not a really great one. I'd probably rate this movie roughly around 5.5, maybe 6 out of 10. Which is, decent, I guess. But yeah, I recommend getting this version if you're looking to get this film. It is definitely worth owning. Released by Severin. This is the fully uncut version, so it has the famous power saw kill in it in its entirety. So yeah, Bloody Moon, I guess that's pretty much all I can say about this one. I do recommend this. If you're a really big slasher fan, it's definitely something that you need to see or even possibly own, so. But, if you beat around the bushes with slashers, I maybe just stay away from it. Who knows? You might even like it. But I do warn you, the dubbing is atrocious in this film. I watch so many movies with bad dubbing and shit. I don't really notice it as much as other people do, but I don't know. It's a fun one. I like it. So anyways, yeah, week 25 here. I'll be back next week, which is week 26, is the midway point of the year. Wow. Fucking year is just flying by. But anyways, Moon616 signing off. Of course, I'll be back with another film next week. Don't know what it is. And peace out, homies.